I thought I'd do a video. I'm shattered. Been a long few days. But it's been a long few days, and might as well get this out of the way now. Right then, as you know, we had the show at the weekend on Friday, and it was alright. It was a good show. I'm trying to think who fought on it now. Let's have a look. Let's have a look who fought on the show. It was at Ponsford. Friday. Started about 6 o'clock. Here we are. On undercard, Moweeba, he won, so he's 2-0. Anthony Tomlinson against MJ Hall. Now that was fantastic from Anthony Tomlinson. He fought brilliantly. He fought out his skin. Anthony really fought good. He won on points. He won on points over 4 rounds, and he sells loads of tickets. He was biggest ticket seller on night, him and Josh Wale. But Anthony Tomlinson, you know, just 10 grand in tickets. You can't beat that, can you? 10 grand in tickets, and he's a 4-round fighter. So he's a massive ticket seller. He's an hard trainer. He's got a good story, and I think that he's got a big future. There's a few managers and promoters asking about him all the time. I have matchmakers DMing me and asking what I'm doing with him next a lot. He's, like I say, he's a massive ticket seller. He can fight anywhere from lightweight to welterweight. He's got a good engine on him. He punches like a mule. He looks the part. You know, he thinks he's Al Pacino. He probably is. But he's got a big future for 26-year-old. He's 5-0. Like I said, he's got a great fan base, and he gets it, Anthony. He gets it, and you know, he's good mates with David Allen over at Road here from me, and that they've known each other since amateur days. I think he'll go our way, Anthony. I'm not going to commit myself and say he's going to be a world champion, but he can be a British champion, and the rest of it's up to him. Danny Toombs. Danny Toombs' fight didn't happen, so and I didn't put this guy in. Dennis and Steffi Bull decided to put Adam Jones in with Danny Toombs. Adam's a middleweight. Danny Toombs is a light heavyweight, and Adam Jones knocked Danny Toombs out. Big Danny Toombs with his 19-inch arms, and he's a cage fighter, and he got knocked out. And everybody was shocked. But like I said, that was nothing to do with me. So that's just how it goes, isn't it? I feel for Danny, but you know, he doesn't sell a ticket, and he's mainly an MMA fighter. He's not a big ticket seller, but I wish him all the best. He's a nice kid. I'm gutted he lost, but good luck to Adam Jones. He's back on the scene now, isn't he? Danny Kennedy against Willie Warburton. Now, I'm a big Danny Kennedy fan. I was pushing for him to fight Conor Benn, as everybody knows. Now, how can I explain it? He won 5 rounds out of 6, and the referee gave it 3 rounds each. The referee, I don't know what he was looking at, but that's a shocker. Shocking refereeing. Diet ginger ale with ice. It's not a bad drink. I couldn't believe that. I was fuming about that. I heard the lads on Boxing Asylum say that Big Russ were not happy. Oh, believe me, mate, I would. If I could have got hold of that referee, I would have strangled him. I would have strangled him in the dressing room. He stayed out of my way. Kyle Youssef, he won. Apparently he's mandatory now for Brad Watson's English title. Nasser had the fight in control against Brad Watson. Nah, I don't know what happened to Nasser. He had it all in control. He was schooling him. He got caught with it. 5th round or 6th round, got dropped. After that, Brad Watson fought out his skin. He just put it on him, and it ended up being fight at night. What a fight, man! The feedback off the TV people has been fantastic. Nasser will come again, but fair play to Brad Watson. He's an English champion now, and he's stuck at it, young Brad, and I'm happy for him. I'm gutted for Lou as well, because I consider him a pal, but I consider Brad a pal as well. So I feel for Lou. It's a tough game, isn't it, boxing? This is the problem you've got when you put 2 lads on from the same stable. You can't cheer, can you? Or you can't cheer for one and you can't cheer for other. It's a bit. So I was jumping up and down myself, like, you know, because I was happy for Brad, but I was gutted for Lou. But I would have been jumping for Lou. So I'm gutted. Then you've got Josh Wale against Bobby Jenkinson. Josh Wale, what can you say about Josh Wale? British champion. He wins his belt outright if he wins his next fight. He's been at it years. He's had 8 or 9 losses. There's probably only 2 or 3 of them that should really be losses. The other ones, he were overmatched, or he'd had an injury. There's always an excuse, isn't there? Or he were fighting away from home. He's had nothing good, that kid, and you've got to really take your hat off, haven't you, to Steffi Bull and Josh Wale's dad, Mick, because Mick's with him every day. I mean, he even goes out with him when he does runs and that, and he's not well, Mick. I think he's had cancer or something. He's something similar to that. He's not well, but he's stuck at it all the way through, Mick, and he's a lovely guy. And they're a lovely family in that. His brother Gwyn, he's a nice kid. And Josh has really, really knuckled down, and he just needs one more fight now for British title outright. Now, that belt, it's £10,000 for that belt. No, I can't explain it. You don't have to pay for that belt if you win it outright. You just get the belt, and it's a great belt. It's the best looking belt out of them all, isn't it? Best looking belt out of the lot. But I just wish that Mick could get better and Josh could go on to bigger things, because when he wins his next fight, Josh, he's got the British outright. He's probably gonna get a belt to his dad in ring after, and then go for a European. And I think he should do it the traditional way. He's had nothing good, that kid, honestly. He's an hard trainer. He don't criticise anybody or stick it to anybody. Unlike me, I do, don't I? I just say what I think. I'm a realist. When Tyson Fury sticks it to people, everybody says, "Oh, good old Tyson." When I stick it to people, they don't like it. But nobody says up to Tyson, do they? Well, they're not going to do, are they? 6'9". But Josh has had no good. If you go through his career, I once interviewed Josh down at Steffi's gym. If you go through all his career, he's been matched hard all the way through. All the way through, he's been matched hard. And I just think that he's getting the breaks now. He's on a right run of form, isn't he? He's getting the breaks, and good luck to him. Good luck to Josh. And I'm praying he wins that next one. Praying. But it was a great show. I saw Glenn McClory. He was doing commentary. I spent some time with the guy who owns Boxing Social afterwards, Neil Kettleborough. He's alright. His missus, she was there. Nice couple. Glenn didn't go to after party, which we were shocked about. But only one he's never been to in his life. Probably tired. But it was a great show. And the spin-offs off the show are Curtis Woodhouse against Liam Cameron. All being well, that should be done for April 13th. So that's good, that, isn't it? Curtis Woodhouse. Good fight. Curtis is, what is he fighting at light middle? Liam's a middle. Well, they could always do a catch weight, couldn't they? Or drop down £2 or something. So good luck to them both if they fight. It's a great fight. Curtis sells a lot of tickets. Liam's got the belt. I'm sure something could be worked out. And who knows, maybe you could have Lou Nasser against Brad Watson in a rematch. You never know. It's only 2 months away, isn't it? Now, I'm going to go through this list here and answer a few questions. This is from John in Leeds. Russ, what do you think to Terry Flanagan? He's 33-0. Do you rate him as a world class fighter? I don't really know, to be honest. Terry Flanagan, 33-0. Who's his best win? Do you know what? I don't think I know my boxing. Who is Terry Flanagan's best win? I couldn't even tell you he's fought that many foreigners, hasn't he, on Frank Warren shows, so I don't know. I don't even know who his best win is. So that's it, John. I don't really know. I'm not weak today, am I? A bit tired. Martin Murray against Billy Joe Saunders for WBO, Russ. What do you think about that? Jennifer in Lincoln. Martin Murray against challenging Billy Joe Saunders. Well, Martin Murray, this is his 5th world title fight, isn't it? I think that he won in Argentina against Martin as he were robbed. And I think the other one, were it Sturm or Abraham, one of them, wasn't it? I think Martin Murray's had bad luck, hasn't he? 2 of them he got beaten, other 2. Golovkin beating him, and what other guy will beat him? And but he was robbed against Martinez, so I think that Martin Murray deserves a bit of luck. But Billy Joe Saunders, you know, he's on fire, isn't he? He don't get hit, does he, Billy Joe Saunders? He don't get hit. So I'm going to go for Billy Joe Saunders on points. I'm sorry, Jennifer, but Billy Joe Saunders on points for me. Roscoe in Newcastle, what do you think to Dave Allen? Dave Allen, what can I say about Dave Allen that hasn't already been said? A waste of talent. Although I think he's got his head round a lot of things now. He's a bit more dedicated. He's a tough kid. He's a close friend of mine, but he's a tough lad, David. Very, very tough. His dad were Cockett Village, or one at Main Manic Village, back in the day when I were a young'un. In fact, his dad's only about 10 years older than me. When I was 16, I think his dad was about 26, so everyone was scared to death of him in Conisborough. I hope David wins against Lemroy Thomas. If he don't win, I think because he sells that many tickets, he does about 40-50 grand in tickets, doesn't he? Because he sells that many tickets, I think that Dave will always get fights. He could fight Joe Joyce, Dubois. They use him as a gatekeeper, won't they, if he loses his next one? So he'll get them paydays, won't he? Huey, that's 3 good paydays, so he could pick up 60-70 grand there, maybe more, maybe 80-90 grand from 3 fights. So it's not end at Wale for him, innit? He's got a gym down here at Bowlby, the White Rhino Sanctuary, or the Rhino Sanctuary. He's got a gym down there, so he's plodding on with stuff, isn't he? So good luck to him. He'll always be in boxing, David, and I'll always help him best I can. So good luck to him. Now, how long are you staying in boxing, Russell? Mike in Ipswich. How long am I going to stay in boxing? In April. I think it's first week in April, I think, or that's my 3 year. I've done 3 year then. And I said to Dennis, I'm going to do 3 year. We're getting close to that now, aren't we? And then I'm probably going to look at it, what I'm going to do. I'd like to do something else. There's days when I think about that all the time. And then there's other days when I miss boxing that much. I think boxing, it's like that, isn't it? When you're down in boxing, you're really depressed, aren't you? And when you're up, you're jumping up and down and you have a great feeling, you have a great after party and all that. So I think there's that many lows. I don't think there's enough highs in boxing. And the people that you're dealing with, I sometimes don't know whether I'm coming or going with them. Not everybody keeps to the word. I was speaking to this earlier to Steffi Wallace. Says people don't keep the word in boxing, and he just laughs. He sends me smiley emojis laughing. I just said people don't keep the word. It's craziness. My favourite word, isn't it? Craziness. But I just don't think people do. I think that people should stick to the word more and be more loyal, but I'm probably going to look at it in April. I have toyed with the idea of taking up pool again. Many years ago, I was close to getting my pro card at pool. I wanted to do it, and then I just sort of fizzled out. Now you need 6 months. You need 6 months to get your eye in. I think. I think you need 6 months to get your eye in at pool. I've had this. This is donkey's years old. It's and it's specially made. It hardly gets any use. This, but I feel like sometimes just getting my camera and go follow it pool circuit around. But as my mate was saying to me the other day, he said Eddie Hearn's family are in charge at pool, aren't they? So I'd be clashing with them again, wouldn't I? But I would like to go get my pro card, but my eyes aren't what they were 25 years ago, and my eyes are not what they were. Plus, you need 6 months. I'd need 6 months just to get me touch right. So, do you know what I mean? But the corner pocket in Mexborough, they've already said that, you know, if you want to play pool with us, you can, and you can have a table, you know, you can go there and practice every day. So it's something that I've toyed with, because I like sport that much, don't I? But I like boxing more. I mean, it's years since I've played serious pool. My dad played serious pool, and I always wanted to take it that step further. And it's something that, you know, there's no age difference on it, but you'd need 6 months every single day, 8-9 hours a day, just playing pool and just practicing and getting your eye and getting your touch right. So that's something I'd be interested in doing. But like I said, I'd probably be a decent club player at the moment if I started. You need that bit of practice. Well, it's something I'd like to do. What do you think to Calla Sowland at the moment? Warren in Tickhill, Doncaster. Calla Sowland, I think that I think he's the best. He's putting on the best quality fights in wheel boxing at the moment. There's no ifs, no buts about it. Calla Sowland, he's putting on the best fights, isn't he? I mean, some of them fights he's putting on, I gasped when I seen that cruiserweight tournament, because I thought, if they get through that without any injuries, they've had so much luck. It's unbelievable. And I like how they've got 4 judges, haven't they? We've got 4 judges, so you've got 4 lots of people on payroll, haven't you? 4 lots of hotels, 4 lots of flights. So there's no flies on him, is there? But I think that's something that everybody else could take a leaf out of, having 4 judges. but I think Callie Sauerland's become popular amongst the hardcores, and I've gave him the moniker as the hardcores hardcore, you know, promoter, because all hardcores don't like Hearn, do they? But everybody seems to like Callie Sauerland, don't they? So you've got to give it. You've got to give him his dues. I thought microphone would turn off then. I'm always paranoid about that microphone. So you've got to give him his dues. The shows are fantastic. You've got Ersk and Gassier in final. Then you've got the semi-finals. Callum Smith at Jurgen Bremer, Eubank and Groves. God, Callum Smith's first former world champion that he's fighting, and they're dragging him down from 175 to 168, and he's 40-year-old. So will Callum Smith get old manned out of it? No, I think he'll stop him. If not, will Callum get jobbed? Maybe he might get jobbed. Who knows? George Groves against Eubank. God, to hear them speak overnight, my head's in turmoil now. I don't know which one to put my bet on. So, but everybody, Carl Froch and everybody's seen Eubank, aren't they, on points? I don't know what to make out, to be honest. Who has Eubank beat? Let's look at the records. Who has Christopher Eubank Jr. beat? Who's his best win? Who? He lost to Billy Joe, didn't he? Who's his best win? That's the question. Who's George Groves' best win? Lost to Badu Jack, lost to Froch twice, squeaked by De Gale. That's his best win, James De Gale. Chudding off life and death. So George Groves' career is more based on the fact that he's had high profile fights, that he ain't really got a good win, has he? I mean, De Gale's only beat, who's De Gale beat? Dirrell and Boutte. Froch had beat him first, didn't he? So it's a 50-50 fight, that. It's a genuine 50-50 fight. So Pam in Wheatley says, what do you think about Daddy English? Daddy English. Chris Eubank Sr. I think that he's good for game. I know he gets a lot of stick, but I think he's good for game. He dresses impeccably, doesn't he? He doesn't swear, unlike me, and he dresses a bit better than me. Probably because he's got more money than me. He dresses fantastic, and he's protective of his son. Well, isn't? I'm protective of my son and my daughter. He's protective of his kids, isn't he? So you've got to give him his dues. I have heard that he's difficult to deal with. I spoke to a promoter the other day who's had dealings with him, and he said that they are a nightmare. So I just think he's good for the game. He keeps saying he's a 19-time world champion. I don't understand what he means by that. Does he mean he won 19 WBO world title fights? Because out of them 19 wins and all them defeats, yeah, what did he have, 5-6 defeats? Out of them 19 wins that Chris Eubank had, only 4 were world champions. Nigel Benn and the other 3 were foreigners, weren't they? So he didn't really beat anybody any good, did he? He only beat 3 at super middleweight. All that run he had at super middleweight, he only beat 3 former world champions. So who exactly was Barry Hearn putting him in with? Same with Anthony Joshua, innit? People keep going on about Anthony Joshua there, so he's got big muscles, he's knocking everybody out. 20 fights, 20 KOs. Well done, Anthony. But you had Deontay Wilder at the Klitschko fight, and the cameras and everybody said Wilder was next, definitely next. Well, since Klitschko lost to Anthony Joshua, this is who signed the contract. Pulev, he signed it, but he got injured. Takam, he signed it, he got stopped and he shouldn't have been stopped. Parker, he signed contract, they fight next month. So 3 people have signed contracts to fight Anthony Joshua. After Wilder said that he were going to fight next, and Adam Smith, Eddie Hearn, Johnny Nelson, they all said it's Wilder next. Well, it's not Wilder, is it? Because 3 people have signed. And when we get to April, it's a year, isn't it? Now they're saying he's going to fight in August. Now, the word I'm getting back from people in the know is it's going to be David Price and Povetkin. The winner of those 2 is going to fight Joshua, and the winner of Dillian White and Big Daddy Brown. So you've got Big Daddy Brown and White, and I'm going to take Big Daddy to beat White. I'm going to take him to stop White by KO. And I've got Povetkin to KO David Price. Now, even though I want Price to win, so I'm going to say it's going to be a Joshua, Parker this year, Povetkin and Brown. So probably Brown then Povetkin, or Povetkin Brown. Either way, you're going to get Anthony Joshua's not going to fight Wilder this year. So then he's going to have had Takam, Parker, and then Brown and Povetkin. That's going to be 4 guys. And Pulev signed. That'll be 5 people that are signed to fight. There's nowhere near they're gonna go near after Parker and those couple I've mentioned. They're not gonna go near Wilder. So he's gone Klitschko. Then they're saying Wilder, no Wilder. Pulev, no Wilder. Takam, no Wilder. Parker, no Wilder. And then Price, Povetkin, winner. Brown, White, winner. No Wilder twice on them. They're not going to go anywhere near Deontay Wilder at all. They're not going to do it. It's just not in their nature to risk it. Now, when Chris Eubank had that big long run of his back in the day, he had a £10 million deal with Sky, who were going on a world tour. Where did they go? South Africa, Wales and Scotland. That were it, wasn't it? They weren't gonna put Chris Eubank near James Toney, were they? Michael Nunn. They weren't gonna go near them fights, were they? And when they went near the Nigel Benn fight, they gave it as a draw, so that Barry Hearn still kept them both, you know, in the contract. So they're not gonna risk Anthony Joshua. They're not gonna risk that cash cow. Mike Tyson said on TV the other day, when he fought, he was a killer. Now you've got these guys now, your Joshuas and your people like that, your Joshuas and your Wilders, they're businessmen, aren't they? They're not killers, they're businessmen. There's no 50-50 fights no more. Them days are gone, aren't they? When we get a 50-50 fight, we're hanging from rafters, aren't we? Like it's a, oh my God, it's a 50-50. Oh my God, Eddie, you're not worthy, you're not worthy. Well, the Klitschko fight was a 50-50, wasn't it, really, because of the experience. They were both evenly matched, but because of the experience. Let's have a look at these other questions. Now, I've done them ones. Getting on to these now. Let's have a look. Which brings me to my sponsor. I've got a new sponsor from Lacoste. He's only given me a few t-shirts and that, but isn't it nice when people say, oh, you know, we'll sort you some t-shirts out and stuff like that. I think that's brilliant and that, because you know when you don't get out in boxing, it's a bit crap, isn't it? You work hard for nothing that, and you see other people working not as hard and they get paid. So I think to myself, oh God, it's nice to get stuff like, it's nice to get stuff in it, to get a few freebies. So I'm looking forward to them coming. Other than that, there isn't really much to talk about at the moment. I'd like to talk about the Martin Murray fight though. Martin Murray, I know I spoke about it earlier, but I just think that Billy Joe's a better boxer, really, but could there be an upset could there be an upset on the cards? Well, it remains to be seen, doesn't it? But it remains to be seen. But I'd like to think that there won't be an upset. But you just don't know, do you? Boxing's boxing, isn't it? I mean, anything can happen. I just hope that it's a good fight. I mean, I want Billy Joe to fight Canelo and Golovkin and beat them because I think he's a better boxer. I always look at Billy Joe's fights and I always think that, do you know what? There's always more to come from him. I always think there's more to come, but you just never get it from him. I just think he's better than what everybody suggests. I just think could do better if tried. He's never really been tested, has he? We've never really seen Billy Joe Saunders in trouble in ring, have we? We've seen Tyson Fury decamp a few times and then get up and knock him out, but we've never really seen Billy Joe in trouble, and I just think that sooner or later Billy Joe he's gonna really be tested. And I don't think Martin Murray's gonna test him. I think that it'll be Canelo and I think Golovkin, but I think they're tailor-made for him, really. Me, honestly, Canelo and Golovkin, I think they're tailor-made for Bill, and I think he beats him. I think he's best middleweight on planet. Same as I think Tyson Fury is best heavyweight on planet. I just think that Tyson, he just needs to get out there and fight, doesn't he, at the moment? We're hearing a lot of, he's going to do this and going to do that. Let's go out and get fighting. Do you know, if I were Tyson, do you know what I'd have done? I'd have gone in camp, knocked all weight off, got my licence, got my first fight sorted out and gone out and done the business and just stayed quiet and created a sense of he's serious. But Tyson's always going to joke about, isn't he? Even when he was heavyweight champion at Wale, he joked about, didn't he? So you've got to love him for that, haven't you? But I just think that he is really that good. Only people who can really beat Tyson Fury and Billy Joe Saunders are themselves. You know, they're that good, aren't they? That's what I think anyway. I think they're really good. I think Billy Joe, since he's gone to Dominic Ingle, I think he's learnt about what to put in his body and what not to put in his body, when to eat, when not to eat. I think he's learnt all that, and I think he's really good now. I think he's that polished. And Dominic Ingle looks well, doesn't he, for 50-year-old, doesn't he? He looks well, he trains, doesn't he? He eats properly. Saw him eating some celery the other week. You know what I mean? I was eating a sausage sandwich and he was there with his celery. But they studied it all, haven't they? They've got Greg Marriott up there helping him all. Kel's always in shape, isn't he? He always makes £147, doesn't he? So I think they've got to, you got to give them respect. Got to give them respect because they've done really well. But yeah, I think that they're really going to do well. Them two, Dominic and Billy Joe. I think they beat Canelo. I think they beat Golovkin. If Golovkin can't nail Billy Joe, how's he going to beat him if you can't hit him? How's he going to beat Billy Joe, Golovkin? I don't think he'll be able to hit him. I think Billy Joe will beat him at back foot. But yeah, which brings me to what's going to happen. People keep asking me about what will happen with Peter Fury now. Well, I think if Peter's not going to be training Tyson, I think he'll just train Hughie. Hughie's a very dedicated kid, isn't he? And when Hughie comes back, he will look the business. Do you know what I mean? He will look the business. Do you know what I mean? I wish them all the best, but if Hughie's going to come back and go for a world title, which division is he going to fight in when he comes back, and what belt will he fight for? Now, I already know what fight Hughie's going to have next. Can't say on here, but I already know when it is and who it is. So I'm really looking forward to to go into that fight. I can't wait. It won't be long. He's a great kid, Huey. He's quiet. He says all the right things, and he's going to surprise a few people this year. And I think people are they're going to sort of say that Huey's the forgotten man. Well, Huey isn't the forgotten man because he can fight. Now he's only 23. He's got plenty of time on all these. What is Dubois? He's 20, isn't he? Dubois is 20. Huey is 23. So let's just see how it works out. Do you know what I mean? But it'll work out. He'll be a world champion in Huey. Might not be this year through politics. If he can be this year, I'll be really pleased. But if not, it'll be through politics. But you'd put Huey in ring with any champions, I think, and could beat any of them on his day. So that's what I think. I'm not just saying that because I'm a Peter Fury pal, a pal of Peter's. I'm not saying it. I'm a Peter Fury fan as well. I think what he did out there in Germany, Dusseldorf, with Vladimir, it was up there as when Tyson got beat, wasn't it? You know, when Tyson got beat against Buster Douglas. This were up there for me, in my opinion. So I just think that Peter Fury's a great trainer. Did well for him. What do you think to social media, Russell? Frana in Liverpool. What do I think to social media? I've had this question off this guy before. He means podcasts and that. Now, podcasts, I'm a big podcast fan. I like Boxing Asylum, Boxing Coalition, New Age Podfather. I like all them lads, Terry, Andy, Martin on New Age. I like Tommy Guru Allen, Andy Patterson, Steve Wellings, Dominic, is it Dave the Hater or Dominic and Hill, is it Dominic? The Irish kid, they're all good kids. Smido, all good kids. Leon, Iota is it or something, the one on Boxing Scene. Hello, my name's Cam. They're all boxing hardcore lads, aren't they? Brian King, all them. I like all their stuff, what they come out with on Twitter, social media. Podcasts are fantastic. There's nothing better than chilling out to a podcast on a Sunday night or catching up with them all in week at one time or another. I think they're all good. I like that Behind the Ropes, Fight Talk, all them lads. They're all good ones. Craig, is it Fight Talk, and Adam at Forsey and all those lads at Behind the Ropes. I think it's Behind the Ropes. I've got him in my phone. Let me have a look. But yeah, they're all right, them lads. Beyond the Ropes. But yeah, I think they're all right. Which brings me to Liam Cameron against Curtis Woodhouse. Is that a good fight? Yeah, I think it is a good fight. I think Liam beats him because at reach he's a natural middleweight, and Curtis is coming up, isn't he? He's just moved into light middle, and he's now on about moving up to middle. So I think that's a good fight. I think it's a good fight, and I think that Curtis would be on his chest all night. But if Liam could get some room, I think he's too heavy-handed for Curtis. I think he'd just do what he did to him with Sheedy. I think Sam Sheedy, if he comes back against Curtis Woodhouse, I think that's a good fight. I mean, Curtis is in mix. He's always going to be in mix, isn't he? Because he's a name, former British champ, ex-footballer. You know, he has his say on Twitter. Plus, he sells tickets. He's a big ticket seller, isn't he? He's got big sponsors behind him. Which brings me to Frankie Gavin. Now, I need to put something straight here. Frankie Gavin, in March last year, I made inquiries about Frankie Gavin fighting Laszlo Toth for vacant IBO welterweight. Now I stayed in touch with Ed Levine, and Dennis managed to get it for that Shona, but a deal couldn't be reached for Frankie to sign with us for the simple reason Dennis wanted him to sign a deal with options. Frankie wanted a one-fight deal. Now Dennis didn't want a situation like Jamie McDonnell, where, you know, Frankie has his fight, wins belt and then jogs on. Dennis wanted to, you know, fight Manny Pacquiao with IBO belt, because Dennis knows Bob Arum, you see, and that fight could have been made. So it's quite hard, really, to fathom it all out. But I wish Frankie all the best, and I think his sponsor, sent Dan a message saying there's a couple of tickets for the fight. So I might be going with Dennis to the fight, or I might not. It depends what I've got on that night. But yeah, so I think Frankie beats that show, and it's a gimme fight, isn't it? If you can't beat him, well, you know, may as well pack up, innit? Do you know what I mean? But Frankie Gavin, if he turns up on the night, he beats that Ashona, and then he's in mix, and he's got an IBO belt. I rate the IBO. Everybody slags me, don't they, for it? I rate the IBO. You can't beat the IBO belt because they do it by rules, don't they? Like IBF. IBO's a good belt. So's the IBF. WBC, WBA, WBO. Jesus. I mean, look at the WBA. Come on, we all know what goes on with WBA, don't we? And then you've got Paul Smith still in top 15. How can that be? Good luck to Paul Smith when he's not going to knock it back if he gets offered a title shot, is he? But come on. When all's said and done, Paul Smith's going to come back. He'll come back, he'll probably have 2 more fights at British level and get his son, you know, 40, 50 grand or something. Try and headline and cash out, won't he? Just top his pension up and then be a commentator all his life, because he's a good commentator, isn't he? But Paul Smith were my tip to do really well a few years ago, and it didn't work out, did it? British champion, he fought for 3 world titles, plus he fought Andre Ward. He's been in big fights, hasn't he? But it just hasn't worked out for him. But people were raving about Paul Smith when he were in Contender, weren't they? I were one of them. I were a big Paul Smith fan. But then he blocked me, didn't he, on Twitter for no reason. Believe it. Blocked me, Paul Smith. Good luck, Paul, in the Arthur Abraham fight. I got blocked. Jesus. Paul Smith blocked me because we seen that hashtag. But I'm trying to think what else I've got on my mind. Here's a topic. Let's have a look. We've got 15 minutes left. Do I think Carl Froch will come back? No. Ryan Rhodes. How can I explain about Ryan Rhodes? I first saw Ryan Rhodes in 1995 in a ring in Lindholm Prison at Christmas. Everybody pays £2 and you get to go boxing. You probably get 200 people in there, all paying £2 out your prison canteen, and you're going to generate £400. All screws will pay a tenner to go. So you're probably raising £500 for charity. Johnny Nelson were there, he fought a Welsh kid who were on F-wing, Fraggle Rock they call that in Lindholm Prison. He fought this kid who were on F-wing, I think he was ex-cruiserweight or something, I forget his name, but Johnny were very careful, and in between each round he kept saying, "This kid's good." And he was taking it pretty serious. I think Johnny were about British champion then, about 95. I think he'd fought De Leon. He'd already fought De Leon and Drew, didn't he, in Sheffield with him. Ryan Rhodes, he had a tracksuit on. You know, them like shell suit type ones. He was running backwards and jumping all over the place. And he had a bit of hair at the time. But Brendan Ingle said this kid here is going to be the real deal, and he is the real deal. He was probably the best kid to come out at gym, Ryan Rhodes. Probably the best kid to come out of that gym not to win a world title, but just because you don't win a world title from Ingle gym, it don't mean to say that you can't fight. Because people win world titles, don't they? Who couldn't lace Ryan Rhodes' boots. I mean, I can tell you world champions now. I'm not going to tell you the names, but when I look at them and then I look at Ryan Rhodes and I think, Jesus, do you know what I mean? Yeah, well, I wonder about Ryan Rhodes then. I've just got a tweet off Brian Rose. Brian Rhodes. Did you see the fight on Friday night, Brian? It was a good show. It was a good show, Brian. He's alright, Brian Rhodes. I remember going to watch Brian Rhodes on Kell Brook-Senchenko. Kell Brook-Senchenko fight, and me and my children's mum, we went to watch it, and we watched the Brian Rhodes fight, and I screamed that hard for Brian Rhodes that night. All my throat were all messed up, and I was drunk as well. And I remember singing "Seasider, Seasider," and I think it got him over that line. I'd like to think that I helped him get over that line that night. Although Carl Froch on his commentating, or I think did he have it, or on his blog on Sky, or on his Twitter, he had Brian Rhodes losing by a round. I were hoping Brian squeaked it by a round. I think he squeaked home in a split decision, didn't he? But I've seen them go other way. So good luck to him. Good luck to Brian Rhodes. He's all right. He's worked hard to get where he has. I mean, he's got a British title and he's won it outright, and he fought for a world title. But when Brian Rhodes fought for a world title, he shouldn't have been in that ring with that guy. Now, you wouldn't have got Frank Warren putting Beefy Smith in with that Andrade, would you? You wouldn't have done it. They'd have waited for an easier route, wouldn't they, with WBO? It's all about timings. Like Kell Brook, he had that mentality, didn't he, from the... Kell Brook had the mentality from Frank Warren drilled into him about timing. It were British, Commonwealth, European and world #1, wasn't he? British, Commonwealth, European champion and WBO #1 mandatory for God knows how long. They never enforced it, did they? Now, you were waiting for that belt to free up, wasn't he, Kell? And it never freed up, did it? He ended up going IBF route, and fair play to him. But Beefy Smith waited his chance, didn't he? Now, Brian Rhodes, if Eddie had been a bit more patient with him, he could have waited his chance, couldn't he, for his opportunity. But they took the opportunity and threw him in at deep end, like they did Lee Purdy. Look what they did to Lee Purdy. Lee Purdy, Brian Rhodes, they shouldn't have been in with them guys, should have, Devin Alexander and Andrade. It was shocking. But, you know, Brian got a payday out of it, and I think he got enough money to start his own gym up, didn't he, or something. So, but I felt for Brian Rhodes that night, because he took his licks, didn't he? And he's a tough kid, and I think that him and Bobby Rimmer, I think they made a good team for years. He always reminds me of Jack Duckworth, Bobby, because he's got them pigeons, hasn't he, and that. But I wish him all the best, Brian Rhodes. And he didn't used to follow me, Brian Rhodes. He follows me now. Didn't used to follow me. But yeah, I wish him all the best. But the British scene at the moment's buzzing, isn't it? I mean, what's going to happen with Crolla? Is Crolla ever going to fight? Is Crolla ever going to fight Teddy Flanagan? That's what I want to know. Is Crolla ever going to fight Flanagan? Same school, one's Man United, one's Man City, same area or village, and they're not fighting, and they're the same weight division. Come on, Eddie. That more or less tells you that Eddie Hearn don't want to work with Frank Warren. That more or less tells you, doesn't it? But that's boxing for you, isn't it? That's boxing for you. 15,000 followers now. I don't know where they're all coming from. But when I look at it like this, when have we ever had boxing as good as what it is now? When has it ever been this good? In the days of John Conte and Dave Boy Green, people like that, Kirtland Lang, Frank Bruno, Georgie Collins. Do you remember him? Georgie Collins, was he EastEnder? He was a good fighter, wasn't he, Georgie Collins? Big things were tipped for him, weren't they? Were he with Frank Warren? They were raving about him back in the day. I remember a story. My granddad told me that back in the day when Joe Bugner had flares and that, and he were over here, Frank Warren used to take him used to go to the Bruno shows and take Bugner in tow, you know, to shows, and trying to cause ripples. Bit like you get Amir Khan going to Kell Brook's fight and calling him out, or Kell Brook's. I'm hearing today that Kell Brook's going to Amir Khan's fight in April and is going to call him out. So that's all good in it now. But I think that it's all getting a bit pantomimey now, isn't it? You know, did you see the Amir Khan presser? I mean, that were quite bad, that, wasn't it? You know, he shouldn't be mentioning about his missus and stuff like that. I don't agree with stuff like that. But I thought that were quite bad of the guy to bring it up. But when he were mentioning it, him who's had his teeth done, what's he called, Shah Khan, he sort of were like grinning. And Eddie was like smirking, but Amir wasn't smirking. I wonder if they'd set it up and Amir didn't know. But if you pause it and then look when he first starts talking about it, pause it on the telly and look at the faces. And I thought, I don't like anything like that, me. I'm not keen about anything like that at all. People start mentioning your missus, problems, innit? Would Eddie Hearn like that being mentioned, saying that his missus is a slapper, or anything like that? Or would Shah like it if somebody said that his wife's a slapper, or she'd been messing about, or with man's leftovers, or whatever it's said? You shouldn't bring families into it. Don't bring people's girlfriends into it, and don't bring people's children into it, you know, anything like that. We're all men at will, aren't we? We can all say things like, to Tony Bellew, he can take it on chin. Tony, I think David Haye's going to knock you out. Now Tony took it all on chin. If Tony goes round and threatens everybody who said he'd lose against David Haye, and I said he'd lose, Dennis did a column in Boxing News about it, saying David Haye blows him away. But we all got caught up in the David Haye hype, didn't we? Dave Caldwell got it perfect, and he said, people are mesmerised by David Haye in training with all these videos we were putting out, and we were all thinking, oh, it's David Haye from years ago, because David's telling us all, I'm back, I'm back, I'm back. But in reality, his body were breaking down, and Bellew knew the longer he hung in there, the better it would be for himself, because he's been an active fighter, hasn't he? Now David Haye's not had that many fights, has he really? What's he had? 31 fights in the same period. I mean, Carl Froch's had 35 fights and he's been retired for a year. So he's had 4 fights longer than David and he's been retired for a year, and David's still been fighting. And Carl didn't have that many, he only had a couple of years, didn't he, after his British title. After he won British, I think he only had like 2 a year, didn't he? Or after he beat Alan Page, so for English title. So I think David Haye, I think it'll go the same as last time. I hope he wins anyway. I want to see him win, because then they might set up a third fight, and of course they'll love that, won't they? A rubber match. But who's to say he's going to get through at camp? We're only just in February and we're talking May, 3 months away. So who knows what's going to happen? But David will be picking checks up for another 5-6 years in boxing, I can guarantee it, because he needs the money for his lifestyle. Now, way I look at it as regards David's fitness, he's 38-year-old this year, David. Now, Muhammad Ali, when he fought Larry Holmes, was 38, wasn't he? Now, everybody said, oh, look at Larry Holmes, he's beating Ali, Ali's over the hill. When Larry Holmes fought Mike Tyson, everybody said, look at Mike Tyson, he's beating Larry, he's over the hill. When you get to 38-year-old, there's a big difference, isn't there? What's Bellew, 33, but Bellew's not got mileage on clock like Haye with injuries, has he? Now, I think David Haye really is just out to get money out of the public. But good luck to him, innit? Boxing's a tough game. He's had divorces, he's been ripped off in business and things like that. He's lent people money. There's no worse than lending people money and they're not paying you back. And I mean, I've hearing he's had problems with legal issues with people and stuff like that. I won't mention any names because I don't want Rico editing this, my good friend Rico. But boxing's a tough sport, and there's people out there who are vultures and they want to take advantage of people, and they want to, you know, do everything possible to get your money off you, whether it be by hook or by crook. So you have to be on guard if you're a boxer and you're earning good money. But I think that Davey Day, he'll be fighting for a good few years yet. It'll be another Shannon Briggs, and I think you've probably got all sorts of problems down the line for David. He'll probably be involved in a drug scandal and say he never took anything and they're waiting for a B sample, or it'll be some sort of mess up, or he didn't know he took it, or he didn't know it was a bad substance. There's all that to come for Davey Day down the line. He'll be punching for pay into his 40s, because that's just the way it's been dealt. The cards have been dealt for Davey Day, haven't they? How he lives his life. So I really feel for David. He's going to have to either curb his spending, or he's going to need all them rich friends he's got, like that Joe Fournier. Which brings me to Mr. Fournier, who gives me a bit of stick. Now, he's supposed to be a banned boxer, isn't he, for a substance abuse or something, but he had a win in another country, or I don't know what full ins and outs, but isn't he ranked number 10 with WBA because Pascal's retired? How can he be a WBA ranked number 10 fighter? Whose palm has he had to grease to get that? I mean, what's going on? How can he have a record like that and be a top 10 light heavyweight? Hey, how can that be? Because if that can happen, it means that I can get myself in rankings, doesn't it? I mean, I'll fight Joe Fournier. I'd fight him tomorrow. Tell him to come to Steffi Bull's gym and we'll get at it with head guards on, or we can do it without. Because if he's a professional boxer ranked number 10 in WBA light heavyweight, there's hope for everybody. There's hope for anybody, isn't there? Come on. That's just my opinion. Which brings me to Scott Quigg against the guy he's fighting next. Is it Oscar Valdez or... Forgot. That's a good fight for Quigg, that, innit? And he's probably not going to be as defensive minded now as with Freddie Roach. And who's to say Scott Quigg's not going to chop him down, because Scott Quigg's a trier, isn't he? Now, I'm not saying it's sharpest tool in box, but he's a trier, and I sort of respect him a little bit now since he's fell out with Joe Gallagher. And I'm not slagging Joe Gallagher because I've said enough about Joe in the past. I think that Joe Gallagher, Dennis says he's a good trainer and shouldn't give him stick, so let's say he is a good trainer. I just think that they've all got a similar style. But I think where trainers mess up is, a trainer should be a trainer, shouldn't be allowed to be a manager. Now, British Boxing Board of Control Bible, a trainer shouldn't be allowed to be a manager, and a manager shouldn't be allowed to be a promoter, because it's a conflict of interest, isn't it? Now, a trainer, his job is to train the guy. A manager's job is to manage. A promoter's job is to generate money for the fight. They shouldn't all be doing all them jobs, should they? Now, I don't agree with it, and I don't agree with Dennis being a seconds and being a manager and a promoter and all that. I just don't agree with it. I know in America they don't allow it because of Muhammad Ali Act, but I don't agree what happens in England. I just don't agree with it. I just don't agree with it. I've got my seconds interview on Saturday in Bradford. Me, Dave Allen. I'll be driving Dave there, so we'll have a good chat on the way there. He's going for his managers, and I'm going for my interview for my seconds. So we're going to see where that goes. Then in 3 years I can go for my managers. Whereas 3 years ago, if you look, 2015, I wanted to go for mine then, and people were saying, "Oh no, you don't need it. You don't need it." Well, that 3 years up in it now, and I wish I'd have got it, so I'm getting it now, because it's about doing what's best for me, not for everybody else, isn't it? There's too many people in boxing who want to keep you down or don't want you to get better than what you are. So I want to better myself, getting my seconds, and then I can help in a corner with somebody and learn and then move up to being a trainer. I'm not saying I'm going to be a good trainer, but I'd like to at least be a seconds and just see what it's all about up close. And the good thing about it with me is that I don't want to take any money off the fighters, whereas I've already, people like Steffi Bull and Peter Fury have already said, you know, if you get your seconds and that, we'll help us out and get you a few quid. But I'm not bothered about that. I don't want to take anything out of boxing. I'm not there to do that. So Wacko. But yeah, I'm looking forward to interview. Let me get through interview first. If I get through interview and they'll put me on the course, it's just a case of passing course, isn't it then? If I can't pass it, God, I don't know what's going to happen. There's no hope for me, is there, if I can't pass the seconds course? But if Chris Smedley can be a trainer, I'm sure I can be a seconds, can't I? So we're going to see, aren't we? But it's all about trying, isn't it? It's just like with this here, I did a bit of MCing the other day at weighing. I was nervous as out. Did a bit of MCing. And it's like with this camera, I've mastered this now. I can do interviews and that. It's all about adding a string to your bow and just being around boxing, isn't it? It's like I said, I don't do it for money and that. I just do it because I enjoy it. But do you know what I mean? But other than that, give me 2 seconds. I'm just doing an interview. I'll ring you when I'm done here, yeah, shortly, yeah. Alright, you take care. But other than that, it's all about bettering yourself, innit, and just learning about boxing in itself, innit. And there's a lot of people who are involved in boxing don't really know what they're talking about. I'm probably one of them. But some people have blagged it so far, haven't they? And they're going to keep blagging it. And they know who they are, the fakes, don't they, that have blagged it this far, and they've had it on a plate. Well, I ain't had anything given me on a plate. I've had to graft for it, but like I said, I've not took anything. I'm quite proud of the fact that I've not took anything out of boxing, because there's a lot of takers, isn't there, in boxing. I see it on a regular basis. People take and they take and they take. I mean, what sort of person takes a percentage of somebody's purse when they're on 1,500 quid? What is there to take? God, if that kid gets 4 fights in a year, 6 grand he's had. If you've got to give somebody 600 quid of that, I don't know. I sometimes wonder, but then again, people have to be paid, don't they? Nobody does anything for nothing, do they? I suppose I'm a bit fortunate that, you know, what if they were getting £1 million and I would due 10%? I probably want my cut then, wouldn't I? Or 5%. But it's not about money though. You should get involved in boxing from your heart. You know, like when you follow amateur. People who follow amateur, they don't get any money, do they? They do it for the love of the sport. It's just like when you go down to a pub and you have a game of pool, innit? You don't do it to win money off people. You just do it because you fancy a game, don't you? But I think that's about it really. How many minutes left on that now? 10 minutes. There was something I wanted to talk about and I forgot what it was all about. FreeSports. I think this week we're going to find out about the marketing budget, because we've had 2 shows now and the 3rd show is in April that we're putting on. Now I'm hoping somebody else is going to put a show on next month. I don't know who. Who's to say that Frankie Gavin's show won't be on FreeSports? I don't know. I don't think that's confirmed. I mean, people are saying it's going to go on Boxing Social and be streamed onto Facebook, but who's to say that it's not going to go on? Who's to say it's not going to go on FreeSports? We don't know yet. I hope that wherever channel it goes on, that Dennis at FreeSports, Dennis who I work with, Hobson, and FreeSports can work some out. But I also hope that they can work some out and work with Neil, because I think he's all right. Him. Who works with Glenn McCrory, and he's made a few ripples in boxing. So good luck to him. He pays all his lads, and you know he's not behind the door. He's a bright guy, smart. So well, let's see what happens. But there's a lot of things going on in boxing at the moment that are going to surprise people. I heard a story this morning that blew my mind regarding Tyson Fury, and I think that people might be in for a big surprise when they find out which direction Tyson's going in. I think once they told me it, they were like, "Oh, Ross, don't say out." So I won't say out, but it's not definite. But Tyson's keeping all his options open, and it's not going to be. It's not nailed on that he's going to go with Frank Warren. There's a few twists in the tail, but I were quite surprised actually when I heard it. I just hope he's happy, Tyson. I think he's a bit like myself. You can get down. Life can get you down, can't it? You can be depressed, and they call it bipolar, don't they? Where 1 minute you're up, you're buying everybody drinks in pub. Next minute you're down and you're really low, and I think you need to it's either black or white. I think Tyson needs to find a bit in grey areas, a bit like myself. I'm sort of in grey areas at the moment with my life, but I have had moments where I've been, you know, in the despair, even in despair. Is it doing loads of jail? Even in jail though, I've been up there, been howling my head off and laughing my nuts off and probably stoned off my box or something. Because jail's not always depressing. I always think that it's what you make it, innit? I smiled all the way through my jail in front of people, but they have dark moments, don't you? Where, you know, you have a visit with your family and you can have a bad day that day. You just want to be on your own afterwards. You're looking forward to it before a visit, then after it's awful. So if they're not bashing old grannies upon, nonsense and raping people, I tend to feel sorry for people in jail when I see them on visits. I go visit my mate, and I feel sorry for people who are in there. And if they're just straight, if they're decent people, I feel for them. I feel for the families. But getting back to boxing can save lives, can't it? I think stop people going to prison. You could. It's like in down here they've got Liam Cameron. Down here they've got John Joering. I think he does some at a gym down here. I think he teaches, does boxing. His missus does computer courses. They get people off streets and that. And MPs and councillors, they need to start putting some money into boxing and get people to come off streets. You know, people on street corners. I was driving down here earlier. There's people drinking on walls outside corner shop. They should, and the young lads, they should be in a gym, shouldn't they? But if there isn't a gym for them to go to, it's not good, is it? Good bit of banter on Twitter. What you think, Russ? Give us your view. Liam Cameron. Obviously, Liam didn't do English, did he, at school? He must have twagged it. What, on Twitter now, Liam? You want me to give my views now? Let me just finish up on this interview I'm doing, and I'll give my view. Is it you and Curtis? Are you at it? Let's have a look. I bet Liam and Curtis Woodhouse are at it. They will be, won't they? They'll be at it, won't they, Liam and Curtis? Well, Curtis can't help his thing, can he? Curtis, as soon as he gets home, he has his tea, he starts, doesn't he, on Twitter. He can't help himself. But I'll sort that in a bit. But it's Liam, yeah. I knew it'd be, wouldn't it? Oh, I'll dive in on it. Hang on. Liam, let me just finish this interview. I'm just gonna have my tea and that, and I'll jump in on it. Just tell Curtis you're gonna bang him out. But then he'll just say he's going to sit on your chest all night, won't he? It's all part and parcel of selling fight, isn't it? So, you owe me one for this, mate. I told you I'd make it, didn't I? Alright, mate, cheers. Hey, listen. Steffi said that weighing, didn't he? No way is that fight happening, no way. And Dennis just winked at me, didn't he? Hey, you never say never in boxing, Liam. Alright. But right, I think I'm going to bring this interview to a close. I'm talking shit at the moment. What can I say? My tips. Joshua to knock out Parker. Martin Murray to lose on points against Billy Joe. Terry Flanagan to get beat against that, what's his name, the light welterweight guy. I think Terry will get beat against him. I think he's too tall. I think he beats Terry on points. I think that's about it really. Dave Allen to beat Lenroy Thomas. Kell Brook to beat Rabchenko by knockout. Jason Cunningham against Jordan Gill. Jordan Gill to beat Jason Cunningham, although Jason, I want him to win. I just think that Jason's career now is gone up to the top, reached Commonwealth, and I think he's coming down now. And Jordan's like where Jason were about 3 years ago. So I think Jordan Gill beats Jason Cunningham. But I hope Jason wins because he's a decent kid and he's from area. I think that's about it really. I can't remember what other fights are on. Oh, Big Daddy Brown. Big Daddy Lucas Brown, he stops Dillian White. Povetkin stops David Price. That's just my opinion, just my humble opinion. People don't need to get upset about it. They don't need to go telling tales to Dennis saying he said this, he said that. And if you're watching, Michelle and Chris Smedley, I know you like to watch, and I haven't had a text off Poppy from Wales yet or Florence, but if I do get a text off from Michelle or Chris, I'll let you know. Alright, I just don't want you hating on me because I'm doing a podcast or whatever this is what I'm doing here, and that you're not doing one. If you like my podcast that much, go set your own up. Alright. Alright, you take care anyway. I'm going to have my tea. Nice bit of Italian pasta from that place up at Wickersley. W it's called. Gorgeous. Alright, you take care. Bye.